Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and today I'm going to make a video that is going to annoy a lot of people, because I made a tweet about this that also annoyed a lot of people, which is basically just in defense of the Great Vault and saying do not bring back bonus rolls. So recently there's been a little bit of a push I've seen from some players, particularly like some players in some top end guilds, to bring back bonus rolls for so for those who didn't play in older expansions, you would get these items. You could buy like 2 per week, and if they were back this expansion, you would probably buy them with like anima or Korthite crystals or cataloged research or whatever. And you would buy them, and then when you killed raid bosses, so first off, you would buy your 2 per week, probably from like over here somewhere. And then when you killed a raid boss, a little box would pop up that let you hit your bonus roll. And if you did, it had a chance of giving you an item for your loot spec from that boss, or it would give you gold. Is another option that it could give you. And the system was, I don't think it was a good one. I don't think that it was particularly good, and I do think the Great Vault is a much better way to help us gear up, help us make sure we're getting our upgrades for longer. But there are still some pain points that I think people are associating this patch with the Great Vault, such as people, opening their Great Vault, right, and seeing like a 239 domination socket that's a minor upgrade, and then like two 252s down here that they can't pick because they're in domination socketed slots, and so they end up just like feeling really bad about their pick. I posit that that is a symptom of domination sockets and shards just being extremely bad, and not the problem there isn't the Great Vault. The problem is just domination sockets making Mythic Plus items obsolete in those slots and making raid items obsolete in those slots. And, that makes the Great Vault do a worse job than it would in a normal patch. And so potentially, people want bonus rolls because they want more raid items this patch than usual. They want ways to make sure they can get their items in those domination slots. And I definitely empathize with those, pain points, but I would say that the way to fix that is just to not make domination sockets work the way they do, because it's really bad. It's really bad for a lot of reasons, not just for that reason. And that would easily solve it, without having to go back and get bonus rolls. Because for those who didn't play with bonus rolls, there were a lot of really annoying things about the system. First off, and a lot of people called me stupid for pretending this is or for saying this is an issue, but like, this is an issue. This did happen to people in my guild. It was something every single week I made sure to log out in front of the bonus roll buyer so that I wouldn't do this. But other people, do this and it feels bad, which is you just forget to buy your bonus rolls each week. It wasn't like a big thing that was, that happened for you. So you would just kill a boss, realize you wanted to bonus roll it, realize you didn't buy your bonus rolls yet, and that was dumb. The second thing was, bonus rolls had this system of increasing bad luck protection on them, which meant that the more times you rolled gold in a row, the more likely the next item would actually be an item rather than gold, which created some very weird optimal play patterns. For instance, if you had a big DPS upgrade from the 9, or from the Eye of the Jailer, and then a small DPS upgrade on the 9, and then no DPS upgrade on the Terragru, and you have 2 bonus rolls and you're killing those 3 bosses this week, which bosses are you supposed to bonus roll? And the answer is, it depends. It depends on how many of your previous bonus rolls you have failed and you've hit gold on. If the answer was like 3 or more, you should save your bonus roll and hit it on the eye. And if the answer was less than that, you're actually supposed to bonus roll Terragru to increase the bad luck protection you have on the eye, even though there was no upgrade for you from the Terragru, just because that was more expected value than rolling the eye and then the 9. So that was dumb and counterintuitive, and a lot of people didn't do that, and the people who did do it got better gear, but also it felt dumb and bad, and it felt really bad when you got a Terragru item. And basically, bonus rolls are a stupid system, and they're dumb, and they shouldn't be back in the game. There are suggestions that I think are reasonable to increase or to fix the problems that people are feeling. The main one really is just domination sockets should never have existed as a system in this form. There's very few redeeming qualities to them, and one of the many drawbacks is the way they nuke the Great Vault Mythic Plus row. Although that's just one of many problems with the system. Other problems that people have is they feel like they reach a point in their character where most items in the Great Vault are downgrades anyways. I would argue that once you get to a character like this, right, where it's like, oh, you have really good items in most slots, like I actually think it's fine that your Great Vault isn't always going to contain an upgrade for you. I think it's pretty reasonable that like item level 200 character is always going to see an upgrade in the Great Vault pretty much regardless, unless you're like my shaman, if you saw my video this week. And you know, as you start getting to this point where you just look at the items available from the raid, right, and you can see there's just very few upgrades for me, I think it's reasonable for things to taper off and for your character to, you know, gain that first 90% of power much faster than that last 10% from the patch. I do think that being able to target specific items, if they wanted to come back with a way of doing that, I would be fine with it. I don't personally feel like it's necessary right now, but if they wanted to add something like that back in, which is something that bonus rolls did, right, was you would choose which boss you were going to bonus roll. I wouldn't mind seeing some way of doing that. One thing I'd like to see would be Great Vault fractional progress carrying over to the next week. I think one problem with the Great Vault is the way it creates these harsh breakpoints at 3, 6 bosses, you know, 1 and 4 Mythic Plus dungeons. I think one cool addition they could make to it is like if you killed 5 bosses, then you would get your 3 slot, and then the next week you would start with 2 already, and you know you'd get that fractional progress carried forward into the next week. I think that could be a cool way to further improve the Great Vault. I think if they wanted to add a system of like making it so that you eventually are going to get whatever item you really want the most, I think a trophy system could work. So for those who don't know, in PvP last expansion, you could get trophies out of your PvP box that would let you upgrade any PvP item to whatever the item level you've earned. And they could do that with the Great Vault as well, right? They could give each Great Vault box a chance, like a 20% chance or something, of containing a trophy. So instead of having like a 252 or 259 item, this could just have a 252 or 259 trophy in it. And then you could use that to upgrade, you know, any heroic or normal raid item up to that item level. And similarly, you could get a Mythic Plus, you know, you get trophies here, and that could help people that feel like, oh, you know, I'm never going to see a 252 Overwhelming Power Crystal, right? There's so many Mythic Plus items, I'm just never going to see it, and therefore I feel like I'm never going to be fully best in slot, or somebody else who did get lucky and get that out of their Great Vault is going to be ahead of me. You know, adding something like that to let me upgrade my Overwhelming Power Crystal from 246 to 252 would be something I'd be fine with. I personally, I don't feel like it's necessary per se. Like I think it's just fine that I'm going to be 6 item levels behind on whatever items I get from Mythic Plus, and I'm going to assume I'm never going to see them in the Great Vault, and that's fine by me. In the same sort of way that like I'm not going to have Avoidance and Leech on all my items, and that's also, you know, that's also fine by me. Like that's not. These are kind of haggling around the edges, you know, small tiny fractions of player power level that don't really upset me that much, but I wouldn't mind seeing a way of adding that into the game. Like I wouldn't see that as a bad thing if it was done, you know, carefully. But again, I don't think the answer to that is bonus rolls. I think bonus rolls are bad and dumb and they're annoying. I'm happy to not have to collect them every week, and would not like having to spend like cataloged research on them if that was how they were re-implemented or anything like that. So this is my opinion piece on bonus rolls. TLDR, most of the problems people have that they feel like could be solved by bonus rolls would be solved by just not making domination sockets as badly as they did. And then most of the remaining problems I wouldn't mind being solved, or also I sometimes just disagree that they're big problems in more elegant ways, and definitely bonus rolls are stupid. All right, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.